Hi, I'm Danielle, and welcome back to my channel where I talk about whatever it is I feel like. And today we're doing kind of an unwinding thoughts about the film The Invite. Normally, when I do the unwinding thoughts one, I'm taking off, well, I'm not taking off my makeup, but I'm putting on my skincare. But I really like how my makeup turned out, so I feel as though more people need to see it. So that's why we're doing it like this. So we're going to start off this review and just talking about this by reading the IMDb. Joe and Angela's marriage is on thin ice. When they invite their enigmatic upstairs neighbors for a dinner party, the night spirals into unexpected places. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. The screenplay is by Will McCormick and Rashida Jones. It was directed by Olivia Wilde, and it stars Seth Rogen, Olivia Wilde, Penelope Cruz, and Edward Norton. And it's actually based off of the 2020 Spanish film The People Upstairs. So it's kind of a remake. And can I just say this film was so good. I saw it yesterday. I went after work and it was really fun because it was a completely empty theater. Completely empty. I was the only one in there at the time. But I had a really nice time. Had my popcorn, had my soda, watched the movie, just laughed uproariously because it was really funny. It was it was a great time. So we're going to kind of break down some of the parts that I really liked about this movie and just my overall thoughts on it. So this is going to be kind of full of spoilers because we're unwinding our thoughts. We're not going to censor out the plot of this movie, essentially. So this is, as I said before, it's a dinner party. And I think what I really liked about it was it felt very real time. The movie is 107 minutes long, so that's a little over an hour and a half. And it cut and it really does feel like you were just at this party for an hour, basically. You get to see the build up to the dinner party with this couple. You, of course, get to see the dinner party where they invite the upstairs neighbors. And then you get to see kind of the fallout of what happens at that dinner party. And I think the fact that it was only four people and they were kind of bottled up in this one location, you got to see the tensions rise and fall. And just you got as you traveled through the different rooms and you would have something happening in one room but at the same time something's happening in another room, it did feel very like true to time, like this was happening almost essentially live, basically, and you were just watching it play out in front of you, almost like a play. Actually, I think that's what made it really cool. It was very much like a play, and it just worked out really well. So it is a comedy. There were so many jokes, and the invite. I keep wanting to say the invitation, but that's not the title of this. The invite kind of refers to a couple of different things, essentially. Where of course it refers to the invite to this dinner party that takes place, and you get to learn about this couple and how, let me start saying their names. So Joe is Seth Rogen, Olivia Wilde is Angela, and then we have Peanut and Hawk, which are Penelope Cruz and Edward Norton. So Joe and Angela are the ones who invite Peanut and Hawk to their dinner party, and Joe and Angela also are married, and they don't have the best relationship. They're bickering the entire time, and there's something that's so like delicious about their arguments. I don't know what it is. I will say, I personally enjoy watching fights in films. Like not physical fights, but like arguments. I enjoy watching arguments on film. I don't like arguing in real life. No, hate it. Don't want to do that at all. But I like watching arguments on film, especially if they're done really well and you can tell that both people really care about each other and the arguments come out of like something deep inside of them. I just love watching arguments. Again, in film, in real life, please don't argue with me. Please, please don't. But I think just the way that they were arguing was so good. You can tell that it was an argument they'd had multiple times before. You know what I mean? Where it didn't feel like this was an out of the blue argument. It had like, you can tell with the her mannerisms and his mannerisms and how she was kind of like wound really tightly and almost a little bit neurotic in the way that she responded to things, and the way that they kind of volleyed back and forth, the rhythm of it. They had done this argument before. They've done this argument thousands of times, it feels, because their marriage is very tumultuous, and kind of having that really tense, biting energy, and then inviting two people into it, Pina and Hawk, the other couple, inviting them in, and them being able to witness that, while also Joe and Angela are trying to impress them and are also like really jealous of them in a way. It just made for really good tension because you see the undercurrent of their fights going on while they're trying to like put on not a happy face, but like a little bit of a facade that they're a fun couple, that they can host these lavish dinner parties and that they can talk to their neighbors about sex and traveling and rugs and stuff like that. It just it made for really delicious tension. Speaking of tension, the other thing, the score, the music in this film. The reason they did this is because Joe works as a musician. He's a musician. He used to have a band, but then that band failed, so now he works at a university, a conservatory basically. So he works at that. So in the beginning of the film, he is kind of like directing the, I want to say choir, but that's not the word. He's directing the band of musicians to kind of like, play their piece. And of course, it's an orchestra, so ebbs and flows, yada, yada, yada. And throughout the dinner party, you do get, throughout the entire film, even before the dinner party, you do get the undercurrent of music and how it plays so heavily into everything that's happening that the silences feel so much more stark and so much more intentional, because there is this score going on throughout the entirety of this film, and it's getting like really, you can hear the tension ratcheting up when they're arguing, and you can hear it getting more frantic, and when it gets a little bit quieter, when they kind of like let each other breathe, it gets low, it gets softer, slower. When Angela's kind of having her like very intense times where she's acting more neurotic and anxious and trying to really put on a big performance, because that's what she's doing. She's trying to perform for these neighbors. The music reflects that, and it works really well. There's like a couple of times where it's silent. One of them is when Hawk, Edward Norton's character, is saying how he got his name, and it's a very sad, tragic story. So that's when it's silent because he's not performing, and I think that really plays into the movie really well. I absolutely love the soundtrack. Um, I think I mentioned that I love the humor in this film. It's very funny. It's incredibly funny. I loved it so much. There were so many like little blink and you miss it jokes, but it was also funny in terms of like just the circumstance in general. Like, you have this woman, I think just the nature of the couple not getting along, Angela and Joe, and kind of like arguing with their eyes and with their mannerisms, and trying not to seem like they're arguing in front of this couple who they think is really cool and really chic and worldly and awesome because they speak Spanish to each other and they have very loud sex upstairs. And that's kind of another thing that comes up in the film. Um, but yeah, just even those moments where they're kind of like arguing with their eyes and the music is kind of like ratcheting up that tension as they're arguing, those were really funny times. There was one in particular where where Angela had put out this huge charcuterie spread specifically to impress Penelope Cruz's character. I have them up here because I keep forgetting the names. Pina. She wants to impress Pina. So she has out this fancy spread with lovely cheeses, and she got jamon because Pina's Spanish and she, of course, would appreciate jamon. So she goes to like present it to her and like, yes, so please like help yourself. And then Pina says, oh, I don't eat meat. I don't eat cheese or gluten. Like, she can't have any of the spread. It's so funny. Even the reveal of when she's like, I'm so impressed you did this because like we talked about this dinner party this morning and it's like you're a magician. We have it now, like a couple hours later. And Angela had been so insistent to her husband that they had talked about this the night before. She's like, you don't listen to me. You don't listen to me. well, I said we were going to do this. We've been talking about doing this. We're having this dinner party. We talked about it the night before. And he's like, no, you didn't. We didn't do that. So when that is revealed, it definitely, again, more tension between them. Incredibly done. Uh, the other, I guess, not name, but the other meaning of invite is is a group sex type of thing. So Pina and Hawk um, are the upstairs neighbors, and they have very loud intercourse upstairs, and it's loud and it's invasive. And Seth Rogen's character Joe wants to bring it up during this dinner party to be like, hey, Angela, you're saying that you're bringing them down to kind of apologize for the noise that we had during our renovation, but they're being freak nasty up there, 4 a.m. every single night. And it's loud and it's invasive. And we have a daughter and she's asking questions like this can't go on. So of course they're arguing about like, we can't talk about this with them because then every time they're having sex, they're going to be thinking about us. Like, we can't bring this up to them. And we got to seem like cool and like free and like, we're not going to stifle them. Like, we have to too. And also, Peanut, she's having wild, untamed orgasms. We can't stifle her. She's a woman. We can't. So there's that thought process in their head. And then when you think Joe is about to bring up the fact that they're very loud, they bring the Peanut and Hawk bring it up first. They bring it up first, and then comes the reveal that it's not just them up there, it's also their friends because they're very free people and enjoy having sex parties. And the reason they came down to the dinner was because they felt a good vibe between Joe and Angela, and were like, it was basically, we saw your vibe from across the room and kind of, you should join us. And basically that's their invite. They both have different invites and it's so funny. um Penelope Cruz's character, she is, I want to say she's a sex therapist is what she said, and she kind of plays therapist to them at the end and is like, you guys don't like each other. It's better for your daughter to of course have two parents who love each other or are happy from afar rather than staying together miserable and hate each other. That's definitely better. And in doing so, she kind of cracks Joe and Angela's relationship wide open. Of course, they've been fighting this entire movie, basically. Sometimes more overtly, sometimes a little bit more discreetly, but they've been fighting this entire movie. But Pina saying that to them definitely cracks them wide open. And of course, it's awkward because you just basically told two people who are more so acquaintances, potential sex partners, but you told them that their marriage is bad and they should stop being in it. And the way that they then kind of disappear after that was hilarious. But also, what I enjoyed about it was they both kind of came to an agreement, Joe and Angela, they kind of came to an agreement after that, that, like, yeah, I think we shouldn't. Maybe this should be. Maybe this should be something that we stop doing. Like, maybe we should stop being in it. They both admit that out loud. And it, of course, after Peanut and Hawk are gone, they're kind of just left in the aftermath of everything. They're with the failed sex games, they're with the failed food, just like still out there because, Peanut didn't eat anything. So they're kind of left with the failed everything around them and just the kind of, I don't know what to do next about it. And I think the way the ending was so beautiful because Joe sits down at the piano. He, as I said before, he's a musician, but he doesn't play anymore. And he sits down at the piano and finally plays, and Angela plays with them. And then the movie kind of cuts. And I think that was a nice kind of open-ended ending where it's left a little bit to interpretation. Like, are they going to decide to try again? Because he's trying something new. He's said he's been miserable and he's kind of taking a step to not be miserable and go back to this thing that he loves, and he's trying it again. And she's kind of like being open and joining him in that moment. Like, is that them being like, yeah, we're going to try this again? Or is it like a kiss goodbye almost? I really liked the ending of this. I liked the entirety of this movie. It was so good. It was probably one of my favorite films that I saw this year. Is it? I don't know. It might be pretty tough to beat. It was a really good time. And like I've said before in like other videos, I enjoy when people do specific things with time, and having a very real time type of situation is very fun to me. Like, see my love of the pit. Like, this was the pit only in a dinner party, basically. Yeah, I'll come back for another film. This one wasn't on my watch list explicitly. I know I had my watch list for July, and this wasn't on it, but that's because I thought it was out of theaters. It movies don't stay in theaters as long as they used to, and I thought this had come and gone and I had missed it. So when I saw the showing after work yesterday, I was like, I gotta hop on it. So I did. That was pretty much all the thoughts that I have on this film, and I will see you next time I have something else I want to talk about. Bye.